So this is a set of two videos I'm making back to back here on the Easter holiday here in Ukraine, which is today, actually. We also celebrate it tomorrow as well, on Monday. The first video I'm making about, and they're both from the book of Jacob, aka James. The real name of that book in Greek is Jacob. And so we've restored that back to the English. So it's the book of Jacob in the rooted word. So don't be surprised if you can't find the book of James and you find that extra book called Jacob. And it's before 1st and 2nd Peter. And it's long before the Pauline epistles. We've restored the order of the books to what they are in the Codex Vaticanus, the oldest Bible in the world. The general epistles came first, or Catholic epistles as they're called. Catholic just means general or universal. And so the general epistles came first after the book of Acts. And then came the Pauline epistles. So let's go ahead and have a look at this first one. They're both in chapter 1 of Jacob. But the first topic is what happens if you are a double-minded person, unstable in all you do. You recognize that, right? Let's read those verses there, and I'm going to explain that to you. I'm going to summarize it and boil it down for you so you understand what's being said very clearly, very simply. This is from verse 5 through verse 8. The Rooted Word Common English edition. But if any one of you leaves himself behind because he does not have enough wisdom, he must make an urgent request to God. He must truly desire wisdom and be confident God will give it to him, and it will be given. He can be sure that he will receive wisdom from God, and that God gives sincerely to all without naming faults. Also, of equal importance, that man must ask in faith as well as urgency, desire, and confidence, because the persuasion you hold requires that you do not depend on your own ability to govern your own life in anything. Very important. That's the key to this passage right here. Because the persuasion, aka faith, the persuasion you hold requires that you do not depend on your own ability to govern your own life in anything. When someone depends on his own governing of himself, he turns out to be just like a violent agitation seen on the ocean, where the wind drives him back and forth and then throws him flat on the ground shockingly quick. The man who depends on his own ability to govern his own life cannot possibly imagine that he will receive anything from the Lord. Notice that. If you are going to govern your own life, you're going to depend on your own governance and your own decisions, your own understanding, then you cannot at all think that you're going to receive anything from alongside the Lord. That man has a two-faced soul, two opinions, two sets of emotions, two intentions, and each set opposes each other in everything. He is completely unstable in all his ways. You say, that's radically different than my Bible. Yeah, that's right. That's because we are giving you the information not only from a single word for word translation, but from the root of the word and also from the context of the usage of that word here. So you understand what it means in the flow of what's being said. Now, this two-faced man, it's not two-faced man. It's a double-souled man, is what it literally says in the Greek. Double-souled man. So, but I kept the two-faced because that's a phrase in English that captures it, but I kept the soul so you understand it's a two-faced soul. It's the soul of the man that's two-faced. And the soul in both classical Greek and Hebrew culture is made of three components, chiefly. The intellect, the emotions, and the intentions. And so you've got those here. Two opinions, two sets of emotions, two intentions, and each set opposes each other in everything. He is completely unstable in all his ways. That's why he will not receive anything from alongside God when he asks, except for, go back to the beginning of this, he must truly desire wisdom and be confident God will give it to him and it will be given. He can be sure that he will receive wisdom from God and that God gives sincerely to all without naming faults, even being a two-faced soul. The only thing that you can expect to get from God by asking is wisdom. To stop being two-faced. A two-faced soul. So if you find yourself where you have been governing your own life, you've been taking the reins, you've been following your own understanding and your own decision making, whether it's successful in your eyes or it's put you into dire circumstances, either way, you've got to wake up. The effect will be detrimental on your eternal life. If you are saved into eternal life, you will be naked. You will be without anything. And you will be humiliated before the Lord. But the chances are better that you will not make it into eternal life if you are governing your own life. You've got to wake up. You've got to ask the Lord and beg him quickly and intently and knowing with confidence that he gives to all without naming fault wisdom. Only wisdom. And get that wisdom so you can do what is wise in God's eyes, which is to stop governing your own life and depending on your own governance of your life. May the Lord bless you as you seek him with all your heart.